Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I do reviews, and tonight the review is on the challenge. Every episode is amazing. I'm like cheesing. I know me doesn't seem like that big, but I'm cheesing because every episode's always just like, oh my god. It's like always something. I have my notes on the side, so if you see me looking over, I'm just kind of like reading what I wrote out in chronological order, and woof, I did not want to mess up on anything, so I'm gonna try and go as slow as possible, but I do get excited because I really do like the show. So first, Leroy and Cam are on a high because Leroy just earned his skull. If you watched last week's episode, you saw Leroy kill it against Jay. It was actually so intense. I was like, oh my god. Like Leroy was going so ham, was going so crazy. I feel like it just had to be him who won, which he did. And Cam is now saying that she wants Teresa to leave. And I don't know if that's like the smart thing to do or how she would do it, because you don't want someone coming back against you, but Cam is a really strong person. But again, like she has to also win the competition of the day in order to be able to put her there. But it all kind of depends on where everyone is on the house and stuff. Like Jay's gone now, so it's Teresa and Corey. I think that's them two who are now together. Nam is telling Lolo that he wants himself to go into the challenge and get his skull because he wants to kind of almost avenge for Jay leaving. Jay was his only friend. And Lolo's just kind of being weird about it. I don't know if it's just because they've been clashing for the past couple of weeks, like they're just not getting along together. They're two strong competitors with clashing opinions, or just maybe they're too alike. And you kind of see CT walking in the background, and I'm like, it's a big house, or it's a big kind of, you see CT walking in the background, like it's a big place. There's no reason for him to be doing that unless he has like a motive, and he does. He stops, he's kind of like, hey, if you guys want to get your skull, and kind of like pitches like an idea to them. And I'm like, okay, because CT doesn't have his skull, Lolo doesn't have her skull, Nam doesn't either. And again, like you kind of mainly have your best interest in the house. It makes sense, like it's you, or I guess you and your partner who wins 1 million, however they're gonna split it. So it does make sense. He's trying to like infiltrate and get some like details out there, get some numbers, but it just didn't kind of really stick with them. It kind of went over their heads because Nam was very much like nom, and Lolo is being some type of way, like they're just not feeling each other. And I feel like whenever one of them get a skull, if they do, they will drop the other competitor. And it kind of sucks because it looked like they were gonna have like a little love fest, but it looks like it's just not working out for them at the moment. When the guys were sitting it together, it's very clear that there's 4 skulls now, and there's only 1 left. So it's either gonna be the guys fighting against guys who already have skulls to take them away from them, or I don't know, like is it a guy's elimination week? We don't know at this time because they love to twist it up. But then we see Meat saying that he'd prefer to go in when he actually wins the challenge of the week. But he hasn't done that yet. It's been weeks. Like when I'm saying that there's 4 skulls for men, several for women, there's been 4-6 weeks from what we know, and he hasn't won yet. So at what point are you gonna win so you can go get your skull? Like Meech, what are you doing at this point? Like it's your rookie season, at least try and make a mark, because he's not doing that so far. But when Kyle is talking, he's still very bitter about the Fessy and Nisa situation. It's almost like Cam being mad at Teresa, but Fessy and Nisa put up Kyle, if you recall that, because he lied to them. He said, I'm gonna vote for this person, he voted for someone else. So they're like, okay, if he's gonna lie to us, we're gonna nominate him. And he just doesn't understand that logic, and is holding everything against Fessy and Nisa still, and basically saying he wants to put them up every chance he has if he does have the opportunity to do so. The daily challenge is, there's like a big water hole, it's like dirt and like muddy water, and it's girls against girls, obviously, and the guys against guys. And there's like a relic. It's kind of like a 4-way pole kind of thing. And basically you kind of have to find the relic in the water and run to the other side. In the first heat, the girls are digging around looking for it, and Nani got it first. All the girls tackled her. Nani ultimately threw it. Cam grabbed it, ran, and won. Aside from me being like confused by Nani's tactic, Lolo was not feeling it because Anissa had her arm kind of around her this way, like essentially choking her. I feel like if she would have had a grip on her from here, it'd be a little bit different, but she really did have her arm around her, and Lolo flipped. And Anissa just couldn't give 2 rats booties about the situation. I'm like, I get it, like you don't need to get that gruesome about it, because the thing is, I don't even think Lolo had the relic at that time, so I can only imagine how pissed she was. But Anissa just was not having it, was not hearing her side of the story. Next, we have the men's heat, and I was so happy. I watched it with my sister, and she was saying it'd be smart if someone holds it like under the water and kind of like guides it to the end so no one knows it, and then runs off when you're at the edge. Nam did that so beautifully. Like he was at the bottom kind of doing this, and like you don't know he had it because everyone was kind of like moving around with it. He was at the very edge and jumped up, and at that point you see Fessy. I'm like, Fessy's a big man. Fessy's a big, fast man. Fessy might grab him, and Nam got out. I was like, oh my god, Nam finally got something, because like rookie season, don't really know his potential yet in the sense of the challenge game, and he did it. without causing any problems, without even having to have anyone wrestle him. So that was amazing. So it was really interesting to see how everyone was going to do after that, and like they're going to follow him. So next is the girls, and it was Teresa and some other people. Teresa tried to follow Nam's tactic, but she was smiling, so it was very obvious that she had it. So the girls ended up tackling her, and it was kind of weird how it went down. But in the end, Gabby got it. So I was like, okay, so it's Cam, Nam, and Gabby. And I'm like, this is very mixed up, because these are not each person's partner, so how they're going to determine it. So in the last heat for the men, it was CT and the other men. CT had a funny way about doing it. He did it with his feet. So he was kind of like dragging his feet with it. And the people who were watching as spectators could tell, because like he wasn't digging with his hands. So it's kind of like, if you were really looking for it, you'd be physically looking like down and stuff and getting down and dirty, versus him kind of just like, I'm not looking for anything. So eventually when he dragged it far enough to the end, he grabbed it, sprinted, and ran. So he went for that heat. And that's when I was like, how are they determining this? So they broke it into 3 rounds. In the second round, it was the 2 guys from each heat and the 2 girls from each heat. So it was Gabby and Cam, CT and Nam. CT won against Nam, and Cam won against Gabby. Cam just is amazing, or a beast when it comes to these competitions. She's a very strong person, Killer Cam, hence. So that happened. And then ultimately, so now it's Cam and her partner, Kyle, and CT and Big T's partner, like that. And CT kind of made a snide comment, and I get it, because Big T just doesn't seem to be a really physically violent person, or like physically like strong person that comes to these kind of competitions. So he's like, you don't stand a chance against Cam, or he said a little bit differently than that. And Big T's just sitting there, cause like, what are you gonna say? He's like, I don't even stand a chance against Cam. Like, you're kind of now just trying to make it sound a little bit better, because it did sound rude when you were putting her down like that. But now Cam and Big T did it, and lo and behold, Cam did win. It was very, very sketch, because CT and Kyle, when they went together, it was like Kyle won. It was like, does that make sense? Because CT is a big man and everyone's scared of going against CT. And then like you see CT wink, and then Kyle like chortling, like happy about it. I'm like, okay, I guess he let him win. But it was kind of interesting, because I was curious of like, CT won and Cam won, like how many times would they do the rounds? Like I was kind of curious how they're going to determine that. But ultimately, Kyle and Cam, who are partners, they both won, so there was no reason to do another round again. So they won for the week, and I'm really happy for that, because I do like Cam. I don't want her to lose her skull. Kyle, don't really have anything to say about him, but he's Cam's partner, so regardless, that's Cam and Kyle, and they're on a high. Amber M, the smaller one, who is partners with Meat, she's saying her name is in everyone's mouth and no one can like get it out. I'm like, you've been nominated, I think, once. Did she? I think they mentioned considering nominating her, but even then it was probably one, like she's never actually competed. So for her to be is like, my name's in everyone's mouth, and everyone wants to, like, I don't think it's that big. Like, not that I know of. Like, I know they were on her earlier when Tori was still around, but that was like 3 weeks ago. So I don't really know if that's like the situation. But then also Lolo is still fired up about Nisa, and Nisa still doesn't care. She's just like, I'm gonna let her cool down. I'm not gonna talk to Lolo while she's like this. I'll let things blow over and I'll consider talking to her later, but right now I could care less about the situation. She's blowing it out of proportion, because Lolo's kind of going around to the other guys like venting about it, and they're like, Lolo, I mean, the situation's over at this point. In a bedroom, Amber B and Big T are talking, and Amber B is basically telling the confessional and us that she just cannot go against Big Brother. Big Brother, like her ultimate alliance. So when it comes to that, like if there was someone else and a Big Brother person, and someone else was her friend, she'd have to vote for that person to go in, because she's not going to go against Big Brother. But Amber M is her friend, and she's been her friend since the beginning, so they're rookie girls. And she's talking to Big T like, hey, would you vote for Amber B? And Big T's like, I don't know if I would do that. And Amber M comes in, and she's like, what are you guys talking about? She kind of has to like skirt the conversation, and she's on to her. She's like, I don't really know if I trust Amber at this moment. It kind of sucks, because we were friends. I thought we were like in this together, but I don't know if I can trust her at this point. And Big T's like, yeah, whatever. And then the deliberation happened. I was like this because Meech and Amber tell everyone that they don't want to go in, and everyone just laughed at them. I'd laugh at them too. I'm like, how many times can you keep saying you don't want to go in until it's the end, and you guys didn't go in, and you're not going to get the skull and go to the final? Like, the skull thing was the best thing to happen to this series. I was so tired of people scapegoating it to the end or sliding to the end and just going to the final by doing nothing, because they have not competed once. Amber has not fought other than the daily competition. So imagine she gets to the final when other people have, when she's done nothing. So I'm really glad they implemented this gold skull thing, because this is like the best thing that's happened to the series in a really long time, despite all the drama. But they were saying that they don't need to go in, and everyone's like, I don't want to go in, like kind of like making fun of them about it. And then Amber's like, well, I hear Anissa's name being brought up too. And then Anissa's pissed and like, why is my name getting brought up? And Fessie's like, well, if her name's brought up, my name's brought up, like obviously because you guys are partners, and for whatever reason Anissa still picked you again after you dropped her. But It's very like chaotic in that sense, not like the worst it's been. So it's like, who is it gonna be? Is it gonna be Fessy and Anissa? Like, did Kyle sway to everybody? Or is it gonna be Amber? Because it kind of seems like that's what everyone's been saying. So everyone's voting, everyone's giving their opinions. So when Kyle and Cam go to like the little room to go and see everything, they don't show it to us. And I was shocked. I was like, is it that big of a reveal that we can't even see? Like, we have to wait like the competitors. But when the dialogues are going on and everything, Kyle is saying that Amber B told him to not let anyone know that he voted for Amber M. And Amber M tells Kyle, hey, if Amber V votes for me, please let me know. So basically they're kind of just both cautious that they're both on each other's radar kind of in a way. So this is gonna blow up if essentially one of them goes down to come back, because I think they probably voted for each other, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh God, the Ambers are against each other. They're rookie girls, and that sucks because this game really tests people and their friendships to like the T. Like, it's very crazy at some point. In the end, it turns out that it's Amber M and Meech. And I was like, was it that big of a reveal? We could have just seen that earlier. And Kyle and Cam ultimately put Nani and Josh. They both said that they wanted to go down. We don't know if it's a girls or a guys elimination, but they're both very dead set on wanting to get their skulls. And then when TJ asked Meech, hey, are you down for this? He's like, yeah, I want my skull. I'm like, Meech, don't lie to me. Don't come with that lying, because you just said you didn't want to go in and now you're going in. You have to say something. Please miss me with that, because you were trying to scapegoat until what? I don't know what he was trying to do, but he was not trying to go in right now. Let me let you know that. And then TJ reveals that it is a men's elimination, which makes everything that much trickier, because last week was a men's one when Leroy kicked Jay out. So now I'm like, you guys keep flip-flopping this guys versus women's week, so we don't even know which one it is. So people go in thinking it's them, but you just don't know. And I'm like, so now all the 5 men will get their skulls, and I think there's 3 for women. So either way, you would think that it's like women, but this man's is gonna be tossing things up. So it's really curious about like how it's gonna go. So that means it's Josh versus Meech, and Amber is giddy. And I'm like, gosh, this is where the drama's gonna happen next week, because now we're gonna find out if Amber actually voted for her, which she probably did, and see how that explosive happens, because Kyle loves drama when it does not surround him. Their elimination is very similar to Anissa's and Tori's. It's the same thing to a T, with the whole pulling the balls down and throwing it at a wall. The only difference is that they had to do a little puzzle ahead of time. Josh takes the lead by a long shot and completes his puzzle, but then struggles with knowing which walls to hit the balls at. I thought that it was just a puzzle that was gonna take a long time. They're gonna throw it and it's fine, but like there were certain ones that hit it and he didn't know. And everyone laughed at him, and Meech was kind of just like, I'm like, Meech, focus on your damn puzzle, stop this. And eventually Josh got the swing of it. He figured out which one to throw it at. Meech never finished the puzzle and Josh won. I said, Meech, you know what? It's a wrap. I've been talking about you in my past reviews or so. Maybe the show is not for you, but at least you were able to do this and get out of the house during quarantine and experience this, get some friends, but this is not the show for him. Like, TJ was laughing and I was like, this is just saying a lot to me. So that was the review, and Josh got his skull, besides people being annoyed with Josh all the time and Josh talking a big talk. Now I'm just like, what men are gonna have to eliminate each other to get their skulls now? Because Corey don't got one, CT don't got one, Darrell doesn't have one. I'm like, oh God, this is gonna be really crazy. But let me know what y'all think of the review, and see you on the next video. Bye.